Finance Minister to submit template for minimum wage to President Tinubu today. Tight security as court begins hearing on Emirate tussle. Public condemnation trails report highlighting governor's lavish expenditure amidst economic crisis. On the foreign scene, Russian foreign minister wraps Africa tour with working visit in Chad. Good afternoon and welcome to the news update on Trust Television. At this hour, I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for joining us. And now the news in detail. The federal government and organized labor on Wednesday adjourned the minimum wage talks till Thursday today, when the negotiation is expected to continue. The Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage postponed the session in anticipation of the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, submitting the salary template to President Bola Tinubu today. Tinubu had on Tuesday directed the Finance Minister to present the cost implications for a new minimum wage within 2 days. The President gave the order at a meeting with the government negotiation team led by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. The minister assured that all hands would be on deck to present a new minimum wage for Nigerians in 1 week. The Kaduna State House of Assembly has indicted former Governor Nasir El-Rufai and several of his aides for allegedly siphoning over 400 billion naira of state resources. An ad hoc committee established by the Kaduna State House of Assembly has recommended a probe and prosecution of former Governor El-Rufai. The committee's chairman, Henry Zakaria, stated that most of the loans obtained and projects implemented during El-Rufai's tenure did not follow due process. Trustee Bello Musa has details of the story.
After hearing the findings of the committee during the plenary session, the Speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, Dahiru Liman, made a revelation of the alleged money siphoned by the immediate past administration in the state.
That the total amount of money siphoned by the Kaduna State government from 29 May 2015 and 29 May 2023 was 423 billion 115 million and 28,072 naira 88 kobo. The contractual liability was 311 billion. Then money siphoned or diverted 423 billion.
The Speaker mentioned how some of the alleged money diverted by the state under the past governor, Nasir El-Rufai.
$2.8 million meant for development or construction or reconstruction or renovation of our primary health care, when it was changed to naira, from dollar to naira, the exchange gain was diverted to a friend of the suspicious occupant of that positions. In 50 days, a travel agency was paid 1.3 billion naira in just 40 days.
While presenting the findings of the investigation, Chairman of the committee and Deputy Speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, Henry Zakaria, said most of the loans obtained under the El-Rufai's administration were not used for the purpose for which they were obtained.
That the governor of Kaduna State between 29 May 2015 to 29 May 2023 as the Chief Executive Officer of the state breached his oath of office contained in the 7th schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended and failed to exercise due diligence in the administration of the state, thereby diversion of funds and money laundering contrary to all extant laws and regulations, and accordingly should be referred to the enforcement agencies. law enforcement agencies for in-depth investigation and appropriate action.
The committee came up with 10 recommendations, which include that all commissioners of finance and head of MDAs in the state from May 29, 2015 to May 29, 2023 be referred to appropriate law enforcement agencies for thorough investigation. They also recommended that the current commissioner of finance in the state should step aside to allow for proper investigation. The committee also recommended that Muyiwa Adeyeke, the special advisor to the former governor, Erifai Omidia, be referred to the appropriate law enforcement agencies for investigation on his involvement in contract at Kaduna State Media Corporation. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Still in the northwest region of the country, there is presence of tight security in and around the Federal High Court complex sitting at Kano Road in Kano as a hearing on Emirate tussle begins today. Reports say operatives of the police command and that of the State Security Service have manned their vehicles and took positions restricting movement in the area. Currently, there is a diversion of vehicles passing through Court Road leading to Zoo Road and Gadi area. A federal high court in Kano had issued an order stopping the Kano State government from enforcing the Kano State Emirate Council repeal law. Justice Muhammad Liman granted the order in an application by Alhaji Aminu Baba Dan Agundi, the Sarkin Dawaki Baba of the Kano Emirate. And now to the National Assembly. The Senate has passed for second reading a bill to establish a National Animal Husbandry and Ranches Commission. The bill, according to its sponsor, Senator Titus Zam, Benue Northwest, aims to regulate cattle rearing and ranching across Nigeria. Trustee Sagir Ibrahim brings details in this report.
In light of the incessant farmer-herders conflict, which has affected several states in the north, central and other zones of the country, impacting agricultural activities, Senator Titus Zam, representing Benue Northwest, feels ranching is the way to go to control and regulate cattle rearing activities across the country.
Now is the time to bring about a law to stop open grazing. It is old-fashioned, hazardous, burdensome, and must be discarded. The bill therefore proposes ranching as the only viable alternative for cattle breeding in Nigeria.
The bill, however, was shouted down by his colleagues. They say it favors one region over others.
And based on the Constitution of Nigeria, I am totally against this bill. And it will not resolve the current challenges we are facing. It will compound our problem. You cannot in any way make a law for a particular section to protect some part of the country.
You cannot really bring the issue of cattle route for now. It is not applicable at all because it touches on the territorial integrity of some states. Some states will not allow it. So ranching should be seen as a business, and government has no business going into it.
Other lawmakers who supported the bill noted that the proposed commission would manage the farmers' crisis in Nigeria.
The cattle, they are all over the place. You will even see them on Abuja Street. You see them all over the place. They enter people's farmland and causing problems all over the country. This bill must be allowed to have its place. All states must be ready to have cattle ranch.
As we consider this, I also want us to look at the Land Use Act as an impediment to this particular very wonderful bill to ensure that we can get and put to rest this matter of herder-farmer clash.
After a heated debate, the bill was passed following a voice vote by the President of the Senate and referred to the Senate Committee on Agriculture, Judiciary and Legal Matters to revert back to the Senate in 4 weeks. Meanwhile, a bill for an act to provide for a Nigeria Gold Reserve Industry Framework also scaled second reading in the Senate. The bill's sponsor and supporters argued that an establishment of a framework in the gold industry will help Nigeria keep track of its gold reserve, regulate the space, and address issues of illegal gold mining.
It is a strategic imperative that aligns with our national developmental goals. The bill contains 80 sections segmented into 5 parts and 5 chapters. A compendium of financial implications of this bill is attached thereto. It will entail a modest budget takeoff, as it would be self-sponsored and high-income yielding in the medium and long run.
We want a framework where all the gold that is mined either legally or illegally in this country is being purchased by the central bank. And once it is done, I can guarantee you in the next 1 year, the value of Naira will change, even if we don't have foreign direct investment.
As we speak right now, somebody is involved in illegal mining of gold, and they take them out of this country, and they make money and put it in their pocket. They use that money to undermine our political system, our security system, every aspect of our national life. They distort our national values. I think everything that needs to be done, needs to be done.
The ayes had it after it was put to voice vote by the Deputy President of the Senate, who presided over the session. The Senate also stepped down the 98.5 billion naira Federal Capital Territory Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2024 for lacking fiscal clarity. The development follows a lead debate by the leader of the Senate, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, proposing that the bill be read a second time. The bill was consequently stepped down until a detailed breakdown was provided. From the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Moving over now to the Green Chamber, the House of Representatives has called on the federal government to review its fight against insecurity across the country. The resolution of the House followed the adoption of an amended motion of urgent public importance moved by Honorable Sada Soli from Katsina State and 24 others on the floor of the Green Chamber during plenary on Wednesday.
Insecurity in Nigeria is a complex and multifaceted issue that encompasses various challenges such as terrorism, insurgency, communal clashes, kidnapping, armed robbery, and banditry. Moving the motion, Soli urged the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, consider the establishment of state policing to complement the efforts of existing security agencies.
Incessant banditry attacks on communities in Northwest and other parts of the country would significantly impact food production and agricultural activities, jeopardizing food security and livelihoods of the people in affected states of the region in the coming rainy season.
The House of Representatives also condemned the killings of army personnel across the country and want the culprits arrested.
This form of attack and killing of military personnel by gunmen in the southeast and other parts of Nigeria has a potential of depending the morale of our armed forces, endangering the lives and property of Nigerians and affecting the war of insurgents, which has no far recorded and success.
Mr. Speaker, again, it's a very, very, very sad day. A couple of months ago, our armed forces, our most prized assets, who sacrificed day and night to keep Nigeria one, to keep Nigeria safe, are randomly killed by non-state actors. Mr. Speaker, it is indeed extremely sad.
We are here screaming against insecurity, and the institution responsible for the protections of life and properties of the citizens of this country are being demoralized by being killed on a daily basis, not only in the east, west, or anywhere in the entire Nigeria.
The nation is facing a serious security challenges, most especially in a situation whereby our security agencies, the police, army, Nigerian Civil Defense Corps are easy targets. They are killed and maimed at the caprice of the criminals. I support wholeheartedly the motion, the prayers and recommendation therein. And I hope the House and by extension the National Assembly, including Mr. President himself, to take decisive actions.
The lower chamber also mandated the House Committee on Diaspora to investigate the murder of Ebuka Nwoko in South Africa and other cases of unlawful killings, third of Nigerians living in diaspora, and report back to the House in 4 weeks for further legislative action. They called on the federal government to prioritize the protection of the lives of Nigerians living abroad and leave no stone unturned in pursuit of justice for fellow compatriots who have suffered injustice and oppression in the hands of foreign nationals.
As is concerned that the recent tragic and painful death of Mr. Ebuka Nwoko, a 43-year-old Nigerian allegedly murdered while in the custody of South African security officials, is yet another harrowing example of the severe mistreatment our compatriots face overseas. Saddened that Nigerian lives are continuously devalued and disregarded, even in nations that claim to uphold democratic values and the rule of law.
The House plenary continues on Thursday.
Nigerians are reacting to a recent media report revealing that 30 governors spent over 986 billion naira on recurrent expenditures in the first quarter of 2024. According to a report, the funds were spent on refreshments, sitting allowances, travel expenses, utilities, and other items. Ibrahim Ismail takes a look at the report and sampled the view of the public.
The report comes amid concerns over the government's double standard on spending when it comes to the elites versus the general public. As Nigerian workers demand better wages, data from Open Nigerian States reveal that in the first 3 months of 2024, 30 state governments spent 5.1 billion naira on refreshments for guests, 4.67 billion naira on sitting allowances for government officials, 34.63 billion naira on local and foreign travel expenses, and 5.64 billion naira on utility bills, totaling 50.02 billion naira. Additionally, the governors paid 405.77 billion naira in salaries to their workers. This substantial spending has sparked strong debates among Nigerians.
I want to say that the governors are not helping the issues in this country. To me, I term the governors as the emperors of this country. They are the greatest problem we have as far as this current democratic system is concerned. Number one, the governors, they come to Abuja every 30 days, collect allocation, both the one for state and local government. When you go to the state, there is no visible thing on the ground that you can see and say this is what the governor has paid.
It's very funny and it's uncalled for. Nigerians, why we choose to behave like this is that it's because people misbehave and go unpunished. So in a situation where there's no discipline in an environment or in a state where there's no punishment, people misbehave and go free. So there is hunger on the land. Day in, day out, people are dying of hunger because of the situation of things on ground. So
this money, number one, if you think of health sectors, education, agriculture, and road, electricity, that's all.
Speaking on accountability in state governance regarding the latest data on excessive spending on allowances and refreshments by Nigerian governors, anti-corruption campaigner Sunday Amos criticized the governors for their insensitivity. He noted that spending such a significant amount within 3 months highlights a lack of regard for the financial challenges faced by the public.
Every day you see in the news poverty all over the country. People are no longer able to eat, suffering left, right, and center, and yet we have this kind of profligacy by our governors. So it's a clear sign of the continued insensitivity to what is happening in the country. Governors and our legislators do not believe that Nigerians are suffering. And that is why these humongous expenses can continue.
Over the years, many Nigerian governors have been accused of embezzling public funds or abusing their office, but most of these cases have been swept under the carpet. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
This is the news update coming to you live on Trust Television. Still to come. Army organizes peace meeting between herders and farmers in Plateau, Kaduna states. More news on return. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Let's take a look at some of our top stories again. Finance Minister to submit template for minimum wage to President Tinubu today. Tight security as court begins hearing on Emirate tussle. And to more stories. Operation Safe Haven, a special task force maintaining peace in Plateau and some parts of Bauchi and Kaduna states, has organized a peace summit to unite members of the communities affected by the communal clashes in the states. Various communities, especially within Plateau and Kaduna states, have suffered from communal clashes as well as banditry and kidnapping activities in the areas where many people were killed. Adam Musa completes the story.
Declaring the event opened, the commander of Operation Safe Haven and General Officer commanding 3 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Abdusalam Abubakar, said the meeting was organized to unite farmers and herders and ensure hitch-free farming season this year in Plateau and Kaduna states. Major General Abubakar emphasizes the importance of peaceful coexistence for sustainable food security in the country.
It is therefore organized to address these challenges towards ensuring a hitch-free and successful farming season this year and beyond. The fact that the agricultural sector remains crucial to the overall development of any state or nation needs no further emphasis. There is a direct nexus between food security as well as economic development and national security.
Religious leaders at the event also speak on the importance of peace in the country.
Against your own self. Integrity, fairness, and justice. Quran chapter 5 verse 8. Don't allow the hatred of some people. That's why the Quran calls a peddler. People peddling lies. Allah calls it lies.
The government should invest in the security sector by consistently equipping the security personnel with upgraded state-of-the-art security gadgets to ensure adequate funding towards training and retraining of security personnel.
Representatives of Plateau and Kaduna state governors call on both farmers and herders to remain peacefully with one another, irrespective of their ethno-religious backgrounds.
Bringing various stakeholders from the 3 states, and I would like to applaud him and recommend that this type of seminar should be done in locations, local areas where we have such security challenges.
Starting from the local level, they must sit together as a community and decide that, okay, now we'll give some space for those rearing animals to do whatever they do, and then some space for those that are into crop.
This is the second time the command is organizing peace meeting to ensure hitch-free farming season in Plateau and Kaduna states. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Away from Nigeria now, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov landed in N'Djamena, Chad on Wednesday. He was wrapping up an Africa tour, which included stops to Guinea, the Republic of Congo, and Burkina Faso. During his working visit, the veteran minister met with his Chadian counterpart, Abdurrahman Koulamala. Central Africa and Western Africa have been considered as France's sphere of influence for decades. Lavrov emphasized that Russia's relations with Chad are not directed against other countries. Russia will mark this year 60 years of diplomatic ties with Chad. And in sports, following flight delay leading to arriving Nigeria behind schedule, the contingents of South Africa slept over in Port Harcourt and will not be at the venue of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier game against Nigeria until Thursday. After passing through the immigration check-in at the Port Harcourt airport, the chartered flight could not take off to Uyo as the airport has closed, forcing the 1996 African champions to spend the night in Port Harcourt. Bafana media officer Rami Titus said the team is still not at base in Uyo due to mostly to the massive flight delay this morning. South Africa are second on the log with 3 points from 2 games, while Super Eagles are third with 2 points. Rwanda are topping the log with 4 points. With that, we've come to the end of the news update at this hour on Trust Television. Do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentaries. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Aisha Salihu.